What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Today is all about scarcity, meaning how do you sell stuff by making people afraid? Should you do it? Should you not? You should. Check it out. Hey everyone, this is Contractor Growth Network. I am Logan.
And I am Alex.
And today is all about one of these 6 principles of persuasion, which is scarcity. Alex, give us the Britannica definition of scarcity, please.
Britannica?
Yeah, or Webster's.
Webster's, yeah.
Or your own urbandictionary.com.
Showing your age there with Britannica.
Yeah.
All right, so scarcity, I would say it is rare. One word, simple, rare.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's non-abundance, very limited. You're in an exclusive group, I would say.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I would say that you nailed it. Good job, dude.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
So you got two, when it comes to like mindsets, we've all heard like you've got the abundance mindset, you've got the scarcity mindset. And abundance mindset means if you're running your company with an abundant mindset, that means that you are playing to win. You are investing in your people. You're putting the stuff out there. If you're playing your business with a scarcity mindset, you're nervous about everything and you are playing effectively not to lose. Mm-hmm. One is playing to win. One is playing not to lose. So scarcity, what we're doing today is we're talking all about how do you use the idea of playing not to lose to sell some stuff, to market some stuff. So scarcity is, I know Neil Christensen, who helps out with he's big like with Reber and stuff like that. We talk about it all the time. His favorite actual persuasion tactic is scarcity. Mm-hmm. And we like using it a lot. We use it often because it just works. Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and jump on into what is scarcity as a whole. So what is scarcity is the idea, and we're going to talk about this in terms of advertising and marketing, but it's the idea that you're pretty much telling people that something is limited. There's not an abundance of it, as Alex quoted just a couple minutes ago. It's the idea that something is going to run out and you better hurry up and get it before it runs out, whether it's limited time, limited resources, things like that, by using the idea of it's in essence like fear of missing out. That's what we're trying to tap into, that says like, hey, get this before it's gone. And people want to jump on because people are way more afraid of missing out on a deal than they are of getting a bad deal. Mm-hmm. So I'll say that one more time. So they'd much rather get a bad deal than miss out and not get the deal. Mm-hmm. So Alex, what was the last thing that you bought that was on sale?
I bought these like neon lights for my room.
Okay.
And I only bought them because they were on sale.
And where'd you find them? Where'd you get them?
Instagram, actually.
Okay.
So I got them through Amazon, but it was on an Instagram ad off of.
And then on that, did it say anything about limited items, limited time?
Yeah, they said it was like 25 left in stock or something like that. Yeah. So it was kind of like, okay, I got to buy now.
And with those are good because Amazon does a great job. Mm-hmm. Next time you go on Amazon, if it ever says only 4 items left, only 8 things left, that is a strong way to get people to buy. Mm-hmm. But there's also other things like some of them are total BS. Mm-hmm. Like how many infomercials do you see where it says if you call in the next 10 minutes, okay, you ran the same fucking ad.
Yeah. Well, that's like so. It's funny you say that because Amazon Prime, they have this countdown now that's like you have like 24 minutes to buy this product and sign up for Amazon Prime, and you'll get it free 2-day shipping. Uh-huh. But every time I refresh the page, it would restart to 24. So it's like, oh, okay. So I guess
they have them with other things where it's like if you refresh the page, it knows and it goes, nah, dude, you're at 22.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, okay, so I guess I can just do whatever I want.
So this whole scarcity thing, you've seen this your entire life. You just didn't know it was there, or you thought, well, this is cheesy. It's only 10 minutes left. But the reason they do it is because it works. Mm-hmm. It gets people to act now because what if they were like, that was like that dude that, he got bit by the stripper, Vince, the ShamWow guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes. It's actually a prostitute, not a stripper. But he sells the ShamWows, and what he says is, and if you call in the next 10 minutes, because we can't be doing this all day, we only have so much of it. That's what what he just did was he threw in there in a very casual line, time scarce and item or volume scarce. So they're throwing this stuff at you, and even though we all know ShamWow is not going to run out,
No.
it still works.
It's a taped commercial.
It's a taped commercial that comes on all the time.
Yes, yeah.
So it works. Infomercials are huge. Infomercials are one of the best ways that you could literally dissect it. And you could go through it, and it's going to ruin infomercials for you because you're going to like never buy the product because you're like, oh, this is why they did this, and look how they positioned that. It's like the other night when I just started up stand-up comedy class, and they like talked about different comedians and this and that, and like it's starting to like kind of ruin comedy because you realize like it takes the funny out of it because now when you watch it, you're like, oh, that's why he did that.
They're not just
like,
up there to cracking jokes.
Yeah, it's like super structured, so it takes the fun out of watching it now. But either way, infomercials do all this stuff really well. So scarcity is all about taking something away or making something limited, and not every company does it. Apple, Apple never has a sale. Like
No.
the only time I've ever seen Apple have a sale is where they like discount like the price by like something stupid like 3%, 4% for like a Mac if you're going to school, or they'll give you like a free printer on top of it. Like, but it's not really limited time. I think they always run it.
Yeah.
So not every brand does it, but actually now I think about it, like I think Apple's like the only large brand, maybe like Coca-Cola and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I'll get the Coke now for 79 cents.
Yeah, which is weird because like, I'll give you an example. The Razr, the Motorola Razr, that phone, that's coming back, but it's a super high price.
It's $1,000 bucks,
yeah,
right?
it's like I think it's like a couple thousand.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I heard. And but it's like I think it's high because of the scarcity of like that product, because it's probably not going to be on shelves for long because it's not an Android. It's not.
Yeah. It's not
the
a
iPhone.
realistic phone to have.
No, it's just because of the nostalgia of it.
Right.
But I mean, that's why I'm always shocked. Like Apple, like everyone has an iPhone, so why aren't people kind of going for the other stuff that's like not as like mainstream and popular? You know.
Well, I know like when Apple would like release stuff, they would always sell out of it. So I think that's why people were actually like lining up for like 3 days in advance to get like the iPhone 4. It's like, you could wait a week, but people want to get first to this stuff and they know that it runs out.
Yeah.
So they wanted to get in and camp out. So I think there is a sense of scarcity by not producing enough, because Apple knows, I mean, if we make 1 million of these phones, we know for the most part, like we're going to sell this many opening weekend. But if they don't all sell that opening weekend, people will buy it down the road. So why would they just not make a ton of them, store them up? And even if they have a disastrous first weekend, they're still going to sell it 2 weeks later. It's not like a phone dies after 2 weeks.
No.
So I think they do that side of things with it, where like they don't ever drop the price, but because everybody wants it and there's such high demand, they say there's a limited amount, which is, I mean, you could do that in your like in the world of like contracting. Like you can only do so many kitchens, so many backyards, so many pond cleanings a year because there's only so many of you.
That's like, is that the power of like when they call up and they want like say an estimate or something like that, and you're already 2 months booked out? Is that kind of the scarcity of the time that makes you want to book that estimate while you're on the phone and not wait?
That's a good question. So if I have this right, it's if you say, look, I'm already a couple months booked out, you better get it now. That would work on somebody who is willing to wait for the 2 months. But if you're like somebody who's like, yeah, like I'm not doing that, like that would actually be a turnoff.
They need it now.
Like, hey, I got a hole in my roof. Yeah, great. 2 months out, like you're out.
Yeah.
But I mean, that would help to show like I'm popular, which you could probably go more into social proof, in my opinion at least. But like, I mean, we use scarcity all the time, which we'll get into how to actually use that in our own worlds and stuff like that. Because there is a right way and a wrong way to do it. So
It's like car dealerships.
it's cars do a lot of it, because if you notice, like car dealerships always have every single holiday there's another promotion. So they, for a limited time or through President's Day weekend or through Christmas or this or December to Remember event, cars, you should always look at how cars and car dealerships sell their stuff, because the price point of a new kitchen is higher than the price point of a car. So if people are financing cars, then why would you not offer financing for a kitchen? Like what's a middle of the road Mercedes cost for a sedan?
Like upwards of like 60,000, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some kitchen remodels go to 120,000.
Yeah.
So if somebody is going to finance a $60,000 car over the course of 5-6 years, then why would you not assume that they're going to also want to finance a $120,000 kitchen?
Yeah.
So that's one of those things that, like, you should see how car dealerships structure their stuff because the price points are not that different. So if people are used to financing, they finance a house, they finance a car, or they finance a remodeling project. Same with the way that they structure their deals or their promotions, right? They give you 0% financing. They give you $5,000 cash back. They give you this, and this, upgrade stuff. So see how cars are doing it and then just emulate them if you're trying to sell more stuff and try to do it with promotions. But they all have limited time. It's all, this weekend, that weekend, because they're trying to say you've only got between now and in a week and a half, which is President's Day, to make this decision, and then this is gone.
Yeah.
Car dealerships, unfortunately, do a ton. They do so many promotions that, all you got to do is wait 4 months for the next one.
Yeah.
But
that's you remember Sleepy's, the mattress store? They sold to mattress firm. But a huge joke that I used to see was that they had a one-day sale almost every week, every day. And it was then it was just well, they're going to have a sale next week. So.
And that's one of those rules of scarcity is that you cannot be one of those going out of business companies. Because if you're always I see these with contractors sometimes where they'll extend their sale by a lot.
Yeah.
They'll say, hey, ending this weekend. Hey, we're ending tomorrow. Hey, we're going to end in the next 6 hours. And then they go, actually, we're going to extend it another month. And it's but you just lost your credibility. So there's scarcity. The next time you try to do it, you're out.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is what happens to us is we go, if something is ending, let's say tonight, most of the leads are going to come in today. They didn't come in a month and a half ago because the timeline to make that decision is so far out. But if it's ending tonight, you're going to get most of your leads in tonight. You're going to go, oh, man, I better extend this thing by another month because we just got a bunch of leads tonight. It doesn't work that way. It's because the timeline of it. So if you extended it by another month, it just messes everything up. Yeah. So scarcity is big, but you got to understand that you can't continuously extend things because otherwise scarcity goes away in the eyes of your customers.
It's you keep hooking the fish, but the fish is already hooked. So you have to reel them in at some point.
Or they're not going to bite.
Yeah.
Or they're not going to bite, but then the next time that you want to hook them, because let's say a fish, they see the worm, they go, nah, that's not really a worm. And then if you keep extending it, then it's not going to do anything. But then the next time you cast another hook down there, another worm down there, if you just extended this thing out, it's not it's going to be obvious that I could just wait again type deal. So that was one of those analogies. I tried to make it work, and then halfway through I was all right, just bail.
I don't know what this is going to get
and
out.
I was all right, how do I spin this back? So
I've never been fishing. So.
Yeah. I buy fish. Don't continue to prolong. If you run an ad or a promotion, don't keep adding time onto it because otherwise it's gonna blow up.
Yeah. So what are some other rules of scarcity? Now going off that.
Another rule of scarcity is really going to be you have to really make this time bound. Time bound or while supplies left, you have to drill that into people's heads that, hey, this is going to end. There is an end period. So that is one of the biggest things. A lot of people, they'll just say yes, you can say while supplies last, but if you actually give a reason behind it, it makes it that much more. Or you give a set deadline. It's like setting a goal. How much weight do you want to lose? Oh, I just want to lose enough weight. Okay, versus how much weight do you want to lose? I want to lose 25 pounds. Well, now you have a set goal. So if you actually say to people, this is ending on this date, or you're saying this, we only have 10 spots available, and then as time goes on, you update and go, now we only have 3 spots available, you're more likely to get somebody to book because you're giving a specific number. And when it's specific, it seems calculated.
Yeah.
It's like when you negotiate on price or on salary or whatever it is, if I'm like, hey, look, I want to make 80 grand a year. And you're like, nah, it's not going to happen. And I'm like, okay, how about 75? And you're like, not going to happen. I'm like, all right, look, I got to make $73,700.
Yeah.
Now that sounds like I actually went back, did the math, and that's actually what I need.
Yeah,
so when you actually give, hey, we've only got X amount of spots available, things like that, it's going to go a lot further because it looks like it's calculated. They're not just using this as a ploy. They're actually legit. They only have 18 spots available.
Yeah.
So that's another rule is just make it the more specific you can make it, as long as it's factual, it's going to work better. But if it's not, and you just got to say hey, this is a summer sale. That's good. Summer sale still means that you got to get this in the summertime.
Yeah.
But it's more vague.
Yeah. It's almost like you've been to a sporting event and they have that guess the attendance.
Yes.
And if it's always a round number, like a 0 or 20, 60,500, you're always like, that's BS. That's not it. So they always put the like they'll give you a number that's like 68,324. It makes you seem more legit because it's like, oh, they actually that looks legit. You look around, so it's like credibility a little bit more too, and you trust it.
It adds to it because it looks more like structured and like there's a rhyme and a reason behind the scarcity. Instead of just like putting it out there and going like, we think we're going to run this sale, so it kind of like puts your foot in the ground more so, if you will.
Yeah.
So
I got you.
yeah, that's a big part of it. So now as far as like, how do you actually use it? We kind of talked about the principles behind it. How do you actually use it? Whenever it comes to paid advertising or promotions, things like that, you need to have this on your landing page. So a landing page, long story short, is if somebody goes into Google or they go on Facebook and they see an ad from you, so if somebody types in patio company near me, and they see an ad that says, hey, you want to get a patio installed? And they go, hell yeah, I do. And they click on it. If it just goes to your normal homepage, it's not going to be a good experience because they didn't go there for your homepage. They want to go to your patio page.
Yeah.
You send them to your patio page or a dedicated landing page. And if you're running a promotion, and if you say, hey, look, get 15% off a patio or get $1,500 off a patio, if it's always like that, then it's not really a promotion. It's more so just like a discount. But if there's an actual timeline on it where you're saying through this date, just like how car companies do it, if you're actually giving a set number on it, then you're able to actually get people in the door because they want to take advantage of that discount or they want to take advantage of those upgrades. But if you don't actually give them a set timeline, then what's the incentive to get them to act now? There's none.
Yeah. So like now the new age of like online advertising, I think that's obviously like the easier way to get them because they can just click a link and go right to your landing page.
Yeah. Like
the infomercials on TV, they actually have to go from a TV to a computer. And how many people actually do that nowadays?
Very few. Or they say like, and that's why like on the TV, like they couldn't do that. So they would actually say, call this number right now. And then they would actually have a timer, like a running like countdown clock on their like screen. So that was their way of doing it.
Yeah.
But now you can do that stuff on the website, on your computer. So you're actually saying to people, this is when this is going to run out. Do not delay because of X, Y, and Z.
Okay.
So that's how you want to do this in advertising is you always want to have like a set deadline, especially if you're running a promotion because otherwise it just becomes a discount that anybody can get anytime. And if you really want people to buy on your terms, not their own, then you need promotions and you needed a reason unless you're like an Apple or a Coca-Cola where you have that much brand strength where people will buy whenever you want. You need to have some sort of time bound or project bound or scheduling bound or some sort of cap on this is why you need to act and this is why you need to act now because otherwise you're going to suffer the consequences of blank, blank, and blank. So that's how you use it in advertising and marketing is you just call it out.
Yeah. Is using like a discount code compared to just saying offer ends like, I don't know, December 31st. Is that like, does that apply a little bit more of like scarcity or is that just kind of like make an extra step that people just wouldn't rather do?
So are you asking if is it the idea of a discount code in general?
Yeah, just because like a discount code to me would be like that's very rare. It's like so the offer's gonna end pretty. Like the code won't work soon, so you got to do it now. But if you just say offer ends soon and put a date to it, does that necessarily speed it up? I'm saying.
I would say the only problem with that is usually when you go like imagine checking out for something and you see something that says enter your coupon code here. The first thing that I always do is I go and search online for a coupon code. But what does that do? That now brings me away from checking out. I've already put my credit card information. I already put all that stuff in. And now I'm leaving that page to go search for a coupon code, which is not what you want.
Yeah. Do you want them on your site at all times?
Yes.
To stay on the site.
Because as soon as they leave, now you're hoping they come back.
Okay.
So with that, I mean, if you have like a coupon, like somebody gives you a physical one or you get emailed a coupon, and it says like, hey, put the coupon code of January 2020 in, I think that probably lays it out that says this is going to end at the end of January 2020. But as far as like giving them a coupon versus just saying this will end, I think a coupon, that's a different type of deal. I think it's more so of like the psychology of like typing in a coupon, like it feels good. It feels like you specifically are getting this deal, not just everybody who calls before the end of January, but now it feels like you're the only one because it's almost like secretive. So I
Yeah.
think that taps into a different side of making people move. I don't think it's a scarcity thing. I think it's more so like you just feel good because it's like, oh yeah, I got this one. Nobody else did. I beat them.
Like exclusive, not
Yeah,
necessarily like rare, just your.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
okay.
So I think it's a difference of that. But if you have like coupon codes, this is not so much for like contractors, but if you have coupon codes that like have the date in them or like when it's gonna stop, I think that would be like powerful enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I get it.
So we also use scarcity. This is a huge selling tactic, sales tool, and we use this. I use this all the time myself. So what'll happen is we run promotions for full sale, right? And the whole idea of a promotion is I want to prove to you that when you work with me, it's going to be well worth the money. You're going to have the ROI. It's going to be great. However, everybody's skeptical. So we need to incentivize people to come in. And once they come in and we build their website and we start to work together, then they go, oh, thank God I found you. But they need a reason to come in first. So that is why we use promotions. That's why promotions work. The idea is not to always discount your prices. The idea is to acquire a new customer by incentivizing them to take action. And then people hate change naturally. So once they start to work with you, they're not going to hire you to do their kitchen and then 6 months later hire a different company to use their bathroom because people hate change.
Yeah.
So that's why you run promotions. Now, what I do when I sell is if we have a monthly promotion, somebody will say the number one objection that I get is I need to think about it. Got it. Totally understand. However, and what I say is I'm like, look, it's all good. I'm not forcing you at all. Just a heads up, there is a promotion that goes along with this that ends in whatever it ends, ends at the end of the month. So at least that way what it does is it now opens up the time or like the shot clock, if you will, like what Mark Cuban does. That's why he always does the scarcity stuff. Like you have a 24-second shot clock, then my offer's off the table.
Yeah.
That's what this does. So I use those and I do what's called going third party. So I'm not actually saying, hey, I will give you a discount if you move forward in January. I'm saying there is. So that's the difference. So now if they don't move forward in January and they miss out, I'm not the bad guy because I'm no longer the one giving them the discount. Now I'm saying there is a discount.
You're putting the ball in their court.
I'm putting the ball in their court and I'm making the bad guy the discount.
Okay.
Same with when you sell like on websites. Hey, Logan, what's the website cost? And if I go, well, I'm going to have to charge you $6,000 for a website versus, okay, let me show you a website. Pull this up. You see that website right there? That website's $6,000. So now they're not mad at me. They're mad at that website for being $6,000.
Okay, I never thought of it like that. So it's like they're the third person, and it's like, well, this guy,
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So trust me, I wish I could charge you less than $6,000 for this website because I like working with you. However, I just can't. That website's $6,000.
That makes you feel good as a customer when they say it like that.
Yes.
So it's like you're like your boys, and you're like,
Yes.
yeah.
I'm in this with you. I wish that website was not $6,000, but it is. Like this website, like trust me, I wish I could do it for $4,000. I can't.
That's smart.
So that's why I use promotions as well. When I sell, I go, just so you know, I'm not forcing you by any means. It's a cushioning statement. Because now what I'm doing is I'm in your court. Just so you know, I'm not pressuring you. There is a promotion that when you buy a website, you're going to get 3 months of SEO. It ends in January. Or what I'll even do sometimes to make this even more fun is I'll say, yeah, that makes total sense. Like, there is a promotion that runs to the end of the month when you buy a new website, but it sounds like you're not interested anyway in moving forward this month. And then I stay quiet and they go, whoa, what's the promotion? And I'm like, funny you should ask.
Actually.
So, yeah, so like that's more of a third party and then a takeaway. But when you use these promotions, you can do stuff like that where it's like, yeah, I just got to think about it. Oh, I want to call around. Okay, that makes total sense. Just a heads up, like there is a promotion where, if you buy in January, you get this off, or we extend your warranty by this amount, or we also do this. So when you sell, you can use that as an incentive to, in the very least, if they don't move forward with you, at least they give you an answer that month. Or at least it gives you an excuse. Hey, look, it's January 7th. This thing ends the 15th. Do you mind if I call you back on the 14th just to find out what's going on? And they're like, yeah, of course, I appreciate that. Because again, what it's doing is now if you're like, hey, can I call you back in a week? And they're like, sure. deep down knowing they're not going to answer.
Yeah.
But now it gives you like a real reason, like, hey, like just, and I don't want to bug you, but like, would it make sense for me to call you back on the 14th since it does end on the 15th? Yeah. So again, now this promotion is the bad guy, and that's the reason that you have to call them. Not because you want to call them and pester them. The bad guy is this promotion. So that's how I use it.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, you can do this in like in your world, in like the like world of remodeling or landscaping. You say, hey, look, you know, if I can build this thing in October, I'll give you 10% off. However, I'm booking for October right now. Mm-hmm. So I just need to know sooner than later. So what you're doing is that's like a bit of reciprocity, but by putting a shot clock on them to decide, it helps that much more. So when you sell these things, you sell your projects, I'm not saying give the whole farm away, but a little incentive here and there when you do go to sell and you give them that scarcity. You say, hey, look, I've got 10 projects in the books that I can do this year, and I've already got 7 of them filled out. So I don't want you to lose your spot. Would it be cool if I call you back in a week just to check in because, you know, we booked 3 in the past week alone. Yeah. So now you're on their side. Mm-hmm. So that's a scarcity as far as volume or like scheduling. If you want to go promotion, make sure there's an end. I'm sorry, like an end date thing. Then you use that as just so you know, it ends blank blank blank, and then you let them decide because now they're freaking out. And if you call them back in a week just to check in because you know that the promotion's ending, now you're on their side, and now they like want you to call them and check in versus like they're frustrated with you calling in and checking in.
It's like you're in there, you're looking out for their best interests.
Yeah, that's all you're doing is like it's you and them versus the promotion. It's kind of like when you do like, oh yeah, I got to talk to my spouse. I'm like, hey, look, I got to be blunt. I have never won a job when I've heard somebody say they have to talk to their spouse. And they're like, no, trust me, like I really want to do it. I'm like, okay, great. Is there like, what can we say together to them to like show them all the great stuff that we talked about today? It's worth it. Yeah. And then now what you're doing is you're on a team together. Mm-hmm. So that's all you're really trying to do. And with scarcity, the real villain here is the lack of time or the lack of items or services or whatever, and you're on their side trying to help them. So that's how I use it to sell. You can, you know, if you're a contractor, if you have a limited time promotion or a limited this, limited that, use that to sell and you go third party saying, just so you know, there is a promotion, not I have a promotion or we're running a promotion. It is, there is a promotion.
The third party selling technique is, I like that. That's the biggest take.
That is one of the biggest things that like in doing that with visuals.
Yeah.
Like that should be, I mean, that was I did a whole webinar on the CSA about that, about selling through visuals. It's one of my favorite ththings to talk about because you're not the bad guy at all.
Yeah.
You're never the bad guy because
you're just the presenter.
Hey, you see that kitchen right there and this, that's a $75,000 kitchen remodeling project. Mm-hmm. You're never the one giving the bad news. You're never the one adding up the numbers. Or my dad does this stuff, which is like, he did this, like he showed me how he did it like 10, 15 years ago, where what he does is when he goes out and uses an actual estimate, if somebody's doing all these add-ons and they're adding on features and upsells and this and that, what he does is he will actually go in and on his calculator, he will add up all the other expenses. So if they're like, yep, I want a pond, and he goes, okay, it's $12,000. They're like, I want this, and this. He's literally adding it up with them on the spot. Mm-hmm. And then what he does is when he hits enter, he then just shows it to them. So now my dad's not the bad guy saying it's $21,500. Now it's the calculator. Mm-hmm. We all hate the calculator together, and the person hates the calculator, but they can't yell at the calculator.
Yeah.
So my dad's safe. The calculator's the bad guy. And it works out.
That's like, I think that's why everybody hates the contractor that just walks around and tries to throw out the price immediately. Like, oh yeah, it's gonna cost $25,000 and not say anything. I think it's why the contractor like that actually takes his time, looks, and goes, well, you know, this might be this, and like does like math. I feel like that's like another way where it's like
it's more calculated.
Yeah, it's more calculated. It's not just like I'm gonna charge him this.
You're winging it, like you're playing it. Yeah. So I mean, that's a whole thing, man. You want to talk about like when you sell and you price stuff, like I get on this, like, because we do like a ton of, you know, role plays, as you know. Like if somebody comes to me and right before they present budget or what it's going to cost, if they say they'll automatically out.
Really?
Imagine, Alex, that website, that's going to cost $10,000. versus
Okay.
this website, this is $10,000.
So you take it as that they're not
They're unsure.
unsure. They're
They
unsure
have
of the price.
they don't
not
know what the
confident.
price is. They just pull that out to get a reaction out of me.
So yeah, okay.
It's
Alright.
not what you say, it's how you say. It's the same thing with like the stand-up comedy stuff where they're like, when you deliver your punchline, you don't continue to talk. You literally do the punchline. You're supposed to physically lean into the audience, and that is your cue to let them know this is time for you to laugh.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's how you say it. So when you do that stuff, like it's, if you say this is going to cost $10,000, it's like, are you sure about that? You sure it's 10,000? You sure it's not 7,000?
Okay. So yeah, it's almost like they take it out of thin air, like you said.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So that's a whole like,
A whole different.
that's a whole
topic.
other thing. But yeah, so with scarcity, when you use scarcity, when you sell, you go third party on this stuff, this will close more deals. Because I think I sold like 4 websites in like 2 days because I just said, hey, just this ends. And it's just like between the 30th and 31st of October. This ends on Halloween. We're running, crazy enough, a spooky Halloween sale. It ends on Halloween though. So
But that's why it worked. And then it kind of going off what you said earlier. It's like but you can't do it for Thanksgiving, Christmas. Really, you have to do a
Correct.
different type of thing, or it won't be that deal. Wouldn't have been
that's special.
as special.
Because otherwise, it's like, great, I'll wait 25 days for Thanksgiving because now it's like the thankful special. So
Yeah.
you either got to like continue to switch up promotions or you do a good amount of no promotions and then boom promotion. And a good amount of no, like 3 months on of 3 months off of promotions, then a month of on, and then 3 months and then a month of on. So you're running 3 promotions throughout the year and you're just building during that time.
Does having like an annual like spooky sale, does that still have the same scarcity of it because because they know it's going to happen every year, or is it too much time for it to be like an actual factor?
I think it's too much time, to be honest. Like I think car companies, like just like looking back at them, they run so many of these things, and I think they switch up how they do things.
Yeah.
But at least this way, it's like it just incentivizes people because everybody gets in the swing of things. They do a fantastic job of promoting it. So I think yes, there are too many promotions that you can run. Where if it's too much, and if people expect it, then it kind of takes some of the pull away. But at the same time, because there is still a window, even though people expect it, they don't want to miss out on it.
I gotcha. Yeah.
So-
like Black Friday, I guess.
But exactly, I mean, everybody knows Black Friday is coming. But I mean, are you gonna wait until Black Friday to get a new computer? No, it's like at this point 11 months out.
Yeah.
But if it's October 30th and you're like, okay, I can kind of suck it up for a month, so you're really only like incentivizing the people that are gonna buy around that time anyway. And with the whole thing of scarcity is when you run these things, however far along like the brand trust line that they are with you, like determines how strong the promotion has to be. So if somebody has no idea who you are and you're offering $1,000 off of a kitchen remodel, well, now they're gonna spend $79,000, not $80,000. That's not that big of a deal. But if it's somebody who's like ready to pull the trigger, they've been on your email list for 2 years, they've been looking at all your stuff, they've even seen you at the trade show, and now you say, hey, we're knocking $1,000 off, they're more likely to do it. Same, it's like when you go to a car dealership and you're gonna buy, unless something goes wrong and they say, yep, we'll knock $1,000 off, you're gonna buy it. But if you're like just in the initial stages of all this stuff and you're like, yeah, I just want to figure out if I even need a new car, and they're like, yeah, I'll knock $1,000 off, you're like, that's great, but like I still got to pay. I still got to pay $29,000 for a car.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing. Scarcity. I like it in advertising. I like it even more in selling.
It's your favorite topic of these 6, isn't it?
Scarcity. I like them all.
Yeah.
No, I probably like reciprocity the most.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, we'll get to that soon.
I'm a giver. Cool. All right, guys. I hope this was helpful. Definitely, the selling with scarcity stuff it's unbelievable how much this works. Like, you don't even have to give the farm away. You just got to give enough away to make it enticing and let people make their own decision. Because as long as you're giving a good product, that what you're doing is right. So, like with me, like I don't have a problem telling people, look, you need to make a decision now. And trust me, if it's not the right time at all, that's cool. You don't have to move forward. I'm just letting you know that this is on the table. And then that way it opens up a whole world, because then we build the website and then now they're like, oh my God, like, so glad I have you, and like this and that, but they just needed some reason to get off the fence. So that's scarcity. If you like this stuff, do me a favor, drop below. This is a persuasion tactic. Type in the comment box, more persuasion tactics, or actually just do more tactics, because to be blunt, unless I have Grammarly on persuasion.
I don't know how to spell persuasion.
It's a hell of a word. Yeah, I would put Parisian. So, so type in more tactics in the comments below, and we'll keep running down these. I think we've done 3 so far, and we'll do the other 3. But I want to make sure that like this is something that people actually care about. So drop that below. If you're on a podcast, send this over to somebody who's trying to get their sales game up or their marketing game up. Scarcity sells it like none other.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.